a couple months prior to that, I overdosed and died. All right. Hey, I'm Gus. I'm the program manager here at GameChangers. Before I realized that I had an addiction, I thought that I was just having fun. In my 20s, I had tried to go to college. I had some really good friends from high school, and I kind of got wrapped up in the fun lifestyle. And so I certainly could party hard like with everyone else. I had fallen into selling drugs and things like that. I didn't believe or have any awareness that I might have an addiction. What my typical day looked like in the middle of my addiction, in the worst parts of my addiction, it really looked like a desperate struggle to, in my own mind, survive, and everything that included. So there was a whole lot of trying to keep track of the lies that I had told, a whole lot of trying not to get caught red handed, a lot of mornings and nights of being sick and thinking up schemes of how to get the money that I needed to not be sick anymore. I would work my hands to the bone and then spend all my money trying to guard myself against getting sick again. And in that process, I damaged a lot of relationships, ruined a lot of relationships. And I think, in truth, in the middle of my addiction, I was very lonely as a result. When I really started to realize things were spiraling as a result of my addiction, I was like, yet again, found myself in a jail cell in Baldwin County. And I had been forced to detox in the medical holding of that jail. I was detoxing from fentanyl, and I wanted to die for the first few days. I remember it got so bad that the nurse on duty there, she came in and she said, "I have to release you. We can't be liable for what happens to you." And I remember, having been through a detox periods before, I remember begging that lady to not release me, because I knew at the point that I was at, if I was released, I was going to walk to the dope man's house so I didn't have to feel how I felt anymore. And I begged her to keep me for one more day, is what I asked for. And she did, thankfully. And so I sat in jail there for a couple months, and that was the first time it occurred to me that maybe the reason that I was experiencing the things in life that I was experiencing, maybe the real issue was that I was just selfish. And that had never occurred to me before. I think up until that point, I had always just thought it was other people's fault, or people were just giving me a hard time. But it really kind of sunk in that, my life's issues were a result of my own selfishness. Despite that, I got out of jail and tried to build my life back up again, relying on myself, and ultimately started using again up until the point that I came to this program. The lowest point for me in my addiction looked like being in a hotel, and I had a staph infection in my knee, and so I was struggling to move around. I had parents who had made a decision not to enable me anymore. I had a girlfriend who was pregnant in a women's program. I had a daughter who I wasn't allowed to see or talk to. And I remember that day from 12 noon to midnight, I did 15 pills. And for context, a couple months prior to that, two of them I overdosed and died. And that day I had done 15, and I was in this hotel and I was miserable and I was alone and I didn't know what to do. And I didn't care if I died or lived. I thought that I was a burden to everyone that cared about me, and I was truly broken and lost. So my recovery journey has looked like trying rehab for the first time on my 30th birthday. I went to a 4-month program, and the reason that I went was because I had gotten caught red-handed, and I had a lot of people that cared about me who were hurt and upset, and so I truly went to kind of get them off my back. And Halfway through that program, I started getting high in the program, and I ended up graduating. And um, I left and went home. And 6 or 7 months later, I was using again, and relationships were strained, and I couldn't keep a job. And things got pretty rough, so I went back to rehab. And that time, I got kicked out for getting high. From then until I arrived here was a year and a half long process of slowly coming to the end of myself, damaging relationships, burning bridges to the ground, and ultimately finding myself very alone and hurt and scared, with no way that I knew of to deal with that except for getting high. And my time was running out. I was overdosing, I was getting locked up. And the fact that I'm still alive is really a miracle. In today's world, 1 in 3 people are touched by addiction in some way. Uh, if you know someone who could benefit from seeing this video, send it to them. And if you're sent this video, give us a call, and know that there are men on the other side of that phone who understand where you're at and what you're going through, who have found freedom through this program and want to help you and genuinely care about you.